Welcome to the Friendly Moms Club podcast with Jen and Karlee. We're the new mom friends you didn't know you needed.
We are creating a safe space to bring moms together, lighten the heaviness, and find joy in the everyday moments. Together, we will share our own experiences of being new moms while navigating the topics we wish more people talked about.
Join us every Monday to hear us skip the small talk and dive right into the uncomfortable.
Happy Mom Day, Karlee.
Happy Mom Day. I don't know if you guys have noticed our new mugs.
I know. How fancy is that?
We should sell these one day.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, one day. Not now. So our 9 followers can buy them.
Make shame funny again hats.
Yes. Oh, yes.
We're gonna, we have a few things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. So Mom Day. How you doing today?
Today's a bit rough. I'm not gonna lie.
A heavy day.
Honestly, it is hard just adjusting to all the things you have to do, like the new lifestyle, but just everything that's included. And it's not just the baby things. It's also
the lack of sleep. It's more than that.
You and your relationships and getting in the things that you need, like your own self-care, your own mental well-being while taking care of your child, making sure. We had a thing, we ran out of formula, and then it took my husband 5 stores to find formula, and then I felt like a failure because I didn't get formula in time before we ran it. Like, it's just never ending.
Yeah.
It's hard.
No need to shame yourself. We all run out of things.
I just...
Yeah. And it's hard because we're learning this new identity of being new moms. Like, we're both 7-8 months into this. So new, very new. And then on top of being new moms, we're also still figuring out how to be a good wife and a good friend and a daughter and fur mamas. Like, you kind of get pulled in all these directions. And then on top of that, you have this whole new identity that's just like mind blowing.
Yes.
And all you want to do is do everything that's right for your little nugget. But then at the same time, you're like, well, I still have to do those things for me so I can be the best for my baby. And it's hard with the guilt and shame in society and making yourself a priority. And
do you know that there's actually a term for that? Like the new identity in motherhood?
Yes, matrescence.
I'm impressed that you knew that. Okay, fine. That wasn't a fun fact.
It is a fun fact. I remember, I think in nursing school in one of like our family classes, we watched it. But I didn't really realize how significant that feeling is. So we'll link that video below because if you haven't heard of that term or seen it, that video, it's fantastic.
It's very interesting. It's like adolescence, right? Like that change, that big shift that you go through, except this one is into motherhood. And it's a real thing. There's a
term
word for it, so it is legit.
Yeah. And it's like your role, your identity, but then also like there's hormone shifts, new routines.
We're both super sweaty, and I'm like, is this a thing? Is this a postpartum? Because I just can't stop. And
and I smell like curry. I love curry, but I don't like to smell like it.
I know. I don't smell you, though.
Don't get too close to these armpits. It's a distinct smell.
Well.
Yeah. Anyways, you go. So
are we still talking about the curry? Because I was gonna
say apparently it's like a biological thing to help your kid find your boobie, but like he can find them, no problem. We don't need the stench, but yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Okay, well, so with all of this going on, we wanted to keep things a little light and airy today, so we're just gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about some of the just
wanna have fun.
Some of the funny things to expect as a parent, like some of the things that have happened. You're just like things you never thought you would do.
Things you heard of that you were like, I will never do that. And then you do it and you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah. I mean,
get it. You just have to laugh because it's hilarious.
Yeah. Motherhood is hard enough. So we're going to share some of the funnies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you go ahead. This one is an example that you have done more than once.
I actually have a photo of this one because it was so funny. So Henry had a little dry skin on his head. So I slathered him up with a little, the Hello Bello everything balm. So he was like slick. And then in the first month or so, he literally lived in the baby carrier. So then he's in the baby carrier. And then I was like, oh, right, I have to eat. So then I'm eating some toast and with avocado on it. And then I have my toast and like half an hour later, I look down and there's chunks of toast on his head and avocado. So naturally, I was like, ooh, avocados are expensive. And then I start eating it. I can't not eat it. I can't waste groceries.
No, I agree.
But then because he had the balm on his head, it was like stuck into his hairs, his like 3 hairs he had. And there was like toast crumbs that were there all night. They didn't.
I know, because all the crumbs would just like stick in. It would be very difficult to get out.
Yeah, they stayed there for a while. And that wasn't the first time. And then I also learned once to not eat even like mildly hot, like temperature hot food, because I once dropped a noodle on his head and it wasn't even hot because I think I made it like an hour before, but it was like kind of warm and it pissed him right off. He was like, I'm sleeping and you dropped a noodle on my head. So then I learned if you have the Ergo baby carrier with the rain cover, works great
For eating.
For eating. Keep those toast crumbs and hot noodles off their head.
I don't think that's what it was made for, but that is a good.
Perfect.
What are they called? Like a mum hack. That's
Mum
a
hack.
Good mum
Yeah.
hack.
That's
Use
why
that,
you follow
use
us.
that rain cover so that you can eat snacks while your baby's napping on you.
Yeah. And then I used to sit on the exercise ball and have him in the carrier. And the exercise ball actually conveniently is a great height chair for most tables.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't say I ever ate while I was on the exercise ball. So
Yeah. Well, when the
because
need strikes.
you get hungry and hangry, and especially just like the new mom and breastfeeding, and like it's just
The
freaking.
fatigue.
You are so tired, but you're so hungry all the time that you need snacks.
Yeah, I love
and so
snacks.
I thought you also had a little chocolate incident too.
Oh,
that you were like,
there was a lot that I have to say I can think of at least like 5 times I've spilled food on his head, and I always eat it, especially if it's chocolate.
well, why? Yeah,
Yeah.
A little energy boost. Just
Yeah.
save it for later.
The first time I actually licked it off his head because he was right there. I was
Yeah.
And you know, in the carrier they say for safety, close enough to kiss,
Yeah.
but really it's like close enough to lick food off their head.
Yeah, same difference.
And then the second one was the toast crumbs in the bomb situation. I would
Yes.
avoid that.
Yeah. That's gross to me. Like I would
But also, I have to say,
no
Henry
judgment. I just was like, that would gross me out. I don't know why I would ever do it, but I've also done it. So
Henry had the most perfect little head. He had like a couple little dry spots, but like both my husband and I have always had skin issues. And Henry is just like a baby skin model. So his head wasn't like a little bit yucky. You know, some babies, it's a little mangy. Mangy, what's the word? Mangy? Yuck.
yes, because Jordan had cradle cap.
Yeah.
So,
So,
you don't
like-
want to get those flakes in your mouth.
No, you don't. Like fish food in your mouth? No, you don't need that.
Okay. Okay, let's just
Moving
move
on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about poop.
Okay, so the amount of times you will just talk about poop, and even at weird times, like my mom has had to be like, "Can you please not talk about this at the dinner table anymore?" And I was like, "Why? It's just poop. Like especially babies poop. You
It's
can't
so
be mad
cute.
about it."
Describing it in detail while you're eating
I
lentil soup.
know. Well, my niece is always so interested, so she'll be like, "Did Jordan poop today? What did it look like? Can I see? Did you take any photos?" And so she'll ask us
like
while
that.
we're at like we do Sunday family dinner. So she'll ask for pictures and
Love
she'll
it.
want to talk about it. And then the rest of my family's like, "Do we really need to talk about this right now?" And I'm
Yeah,
just like,
it's important.
I mean, there maybe is a photo that I sent to a few people of Jordan like mid poop, like it coming out.
Oh yeah,
her
the
bum.
pickle.
Yeah, and everyone thought it was a pickle, and I was like, "Why would I do that?" But it was just very funny, and my mom was just mortified that I ever sent this picture to anyone. And I was like, "You just have to laugh, like it's ridiculous."
You need more context here. Jordan was doing naked time.
Yes, she likes
Jordan's
to
her
have
daughter.
a little naked time at
Yeah,
night to just
air
let
things
things
out.
air out, like play around. We put down like towels so it's not on the carpet. But apparently, she found out that she really liked when she was doing naked time on her tummy to poop, and it became a thing that she liked to poop when she was naked and on tummy time. But she also has intestinal problems. So her poops would like she'd strain really hard and she'd push, and it's super sad. And we're still figuring things
Hard
out.
poops.
But they'd be like hard adult poops, like not baby poops at all, which are supposed to be pretty soft. Like they can be fairly watery, like especially if you're breastfeeding. Before solids, it's like fairly watery
like
and
soup.
fluid, but not
Soupy.
hers. Hers are like hard adult looking poops. And so this one instant when it happened, it just started coming out, and it was just this hard little nug, and it came out in this like perfect little
Pickle.
like perfect little poop, like what you'd imagine a perfect little poop to look like. That's what was coming out of her butt. And I just died. My husband was like, "We need to get the wipes and the diaper." And I had tears
Taking
running
pictures.
down my face, and I was taking photos and laughing so hard because it was just
You gotta laugh.
it was just funny. Like, what's a little poop on the towel? We'll clean it up. Like, you had to just live in the moment and laugh. And my husband was not living in that moment because he was much more concerned about the cleanup. And I was just like,
I mean, it was just a little nugget that came out. You just grab it.
I know. We like literally, we just took a wipe and just whoop out
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That was probably a no wiper. You know when it's fresh?
No,
No?
you still have to wipe.
Well, I know, but you know when you wipe and it's clean and you're like, yes, that's the ultimate poop. You know what I mean?
I honestly don't know what that's it. Maybe I don't have those poops.
Oh, it's like, you know, they don't happen that often, but when you wipe and it's clean and you're like, that's a good poop.
Okay. Good to know. That's what we all strive for.
That's what we strive for. I think JoJo's there.
JoJo is there for all her poop problems. So anyways, you're going to end up talking about poop, sending photos, showing photos, the amount of times, like because Carly's a nurse, clearly I have to just send everything to her.
Love poop.
And so I showed up for a walk one day and I was like, I think there's blood. Like, can you take a look? And so she's zooming in on the photo and like looking at the blood. And other people are like, what are you looking at? She's like, oh, just Jordan's poop. Like, it's just.
We talked
so
about this
normal.
one in another episode. You gave me the phone and I zoomed in. And then I was like, wait, whose poop is this?
I know.
Because it didn't even cross my mind to figure out whose poop it was before I zoomed in.
Yeah.
But hey, it's okay. Every time that Henry poops, my husband has to show it to me. Because especially like, I don't know what it is, but when I was breastfeeding before he had solids, I would be like, everything that goes into you like came out of me. So like, it was like an achievement. Like, yeah, I made that poo, even though he made it, but it came from me.
Wild.
Yeah. So I'd get so excited. I'm like, show me that poop.
Oh, yeah. I actually started, like, Jordan has so many problems with her intestinal stuff, but she would have mucus and then she had blood a few times. And so, like, I would start looking through her poop. So I had to tell my dad that he had to save them. So if I wasn't there, he had to, like, put it away. And it's not for, like, hours, but, like, if I was going to be there in the next 5-10 minutes, like, to save it for me, don't throw it away. And I would grab wipes and I would actually, like, look into her poop because I was looking for more blood, looking for mucus. And I was like, the things you never thought you'd do. Like, I just didn't think I would go through Jordan's poop.
Did you have
like
poop
this.
tongs or like a poop
No,
knife?
I just use wipes.
Okay, yeah, that's
It's
reasonable.
not like environmentally friendly, but I like it's poop. So there's like you have to draw a line.
Yeah,
right?
you're not going to use reusable wipes for sorting through your baby's poop. I mean, somebody out there.
Maybe I should buy like dollar store ones that I just reuse for it.
I mean, people have a poop knife. I don't know if you've ever heard about a poop knife. Personally, I do not have one, but if you Google it, it is a thing. Not for babies. Apparently, some people's poops are so big they like chop it up in the toilet.
What?
I know, mind blowing. Mind blowing. Everybody Google it. It's a thing. Well, maybe don't Google it if you don't want to hear about it, but it's a thing.
Okay, this is mind blowing.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna have to
know.
go home and maybe I won't Google it. I'll tell my husband and make him. I don't want that on my phone.
Poop knife.
I don't want that search.
Yeah, but
on
you
my
could get
phone.
poop tongs for Jordan's poop. That would be fine.
So yeah, that's what I've started doing, and it's been a while now. I don't do it every poop. If it looks normal or like the pickle, I'm not gonna like take that apart.
No. But
anyways.
you changed your formula and her poops are getting better, right?
They are getting better.
A slow upward
I
trend.
actually found like broccoli floret in
Yeah.
it the other day, and like you could see all the detail on the broccoli.
Henry's favorite's the zucchini skins.
Yeah, it's just,
just
and it
chunks.
just shows up in there. It is just
Very cute.
It's just very
And
funny.
you're like, you are eating some.
I know you get actually.
Yeah.
It's proud moments when you see their poop because you're like, oh, you
It's
actually
not all on
ingested
the
that.
floor.
Like,
Yeah.
like because sometimes you don't know. Like it ends up everywhere and down their clothes and like we're both
Everywhere.
doing baby-led weaning, so just food. You kind of just give it to them and
They feed themselves.
yeah, but it's like makes such a mess.
Oh gosh.
And
Everywhere.
so food is so many places that you can't tell what they actually ingest. Like it's really hard. And obviously you're watching them.
Yeah, but you don't know how much they swallow, right?
Yeah,
That's what
it's
you're
just,
saying? Yeah.
It's just really hard to tell. And
So when you see it in their poop, it's
you're like,
yeah.
do a little fist bump.
Very
and
exciting.
I know. I think I've high-fived my husband a few times. She got that.
She got that.
So yeah. So poop. You're gonna talk about it a lot. You just
You're also going to poop in front of your children.
Oh,
because
yeah.
when you're home alone with a baby, or even if your partner's home or someone's here, but they're, doing something else, when you got to poop, you got to poop. Especially if you just had a baby. Like your pelvic floor is not what it used to be. So the amount of times I've had to hold him or have him in the carrier or have him in the little bouncer just like pulled into the bathroom. Love an audience.
It's actually really hard. I had to go to the bathroom, but she was in the ergo, but I was wearing jeans and just
that's hard.
unbuttoning the jeans and taking the jeans off, going to the bath, trying to wipe, then trying to put jeans back on, all while you're wearing a baby. Is
Especially if they're high-waisted because you got to get in the layers.
Oh yeah, it's a skill.
I know one time Jeff came home and I think he either had him in the carrier or was like holding him. And he's like, okay, you have to take him. I have to go to the bathroom. I'm like, what do you think I do every single day when I have to poop? And he's like, oh, didn't even realize oh my gosh.
What do you
She
do?
doesn't just hand off the baby because I'm alone during the day. So
Yeah.
he took the baby and pooped. And you know what? It was a good bonding moment.
I feel like everyone should experience it once in
Yeah,
their life,
exactly.
pooping with an audience. Why
Yeah.
not?
Happens.
So I was also going to say on the topic of poop is that it's going to get on you.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to get on you on places that you never thought poop would get on you. And again, my poor husband, he just had the first few weeks of Jordan's life, he ended up with poop on him at least once a day. And I don't know why. But even in the hospital, he got the meconium and it's so tarry and it was all up his arm and it was it was just not good. But one day I was having a nap and my husband was watching my baby and she pooped. And so I was nicely napping. I didn't really hear anything, but all of a sudden I started hearing a lot of laughing and a bit of like, kind of like, and like, not screaming, but like shocked
Things are
sounds
happening.
and laughing. I could hear my dad was out there. I'm like, what is happening? So I'm like kind of foggy and I come outside and it turns out that Jordan actually pooped on Annette's face because she had pooped and he was lifting up her legs like you do, right? And he was about to wipe, but I guess there's a little like residue on her bum and she went to poop and it was like a little fart. So like poop just like got all over his face. And so apparently my dad was also there and he turned to my dad and was like, did I get any on my face? Because he could feel it. And my dad's like, no, like you're good. So then Dad just like took a wipe and he wiped his face and it was like brown all over it. And he's like, it was on my face. And yeah, it was quite funny.
Meconium's sticky. It's real sticky.
I mean, that wasn't meconium. That was normal poop.
Oh, that was normal poop.
The meconium was just on the arm.
On the arm.
But still, like with the hairy man arms, like that's gotta hurt.
I mean, I'll take none of that. Thank you.
I know. I mean, I've had poop on my hands, but I think that's about it for me. Nanad's really just had the bad luck where it has been too many places.
Hanky shot me with like a squirt gun once with his butt. It like, I think he like had a little bit of diarrhea and then I'm cleaning him and then all of a sudden it was like a little squirt gun, like, and it literally just shot me and I was like, ah.
I know. It gets everywhere.
I actually had a patient once. Well, it was the partner. They were trying to leave the hospital and somehow he got poop in his like kangaroo pocket of his hoodie. He came out and he was like, oh, there was a massive poop explosion. And he reaches in to get his keys or his phone and he pulls his hand out and it's covered in poop. Oh, that was good. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on from the poop.
Shopping. I've always been a shopper. I love shopping. But something I didn't expect was that I'd stop shopping for me and all of my shopping energy would go towards buying baby stuff. Mostly, well, often that you don't need. But I bought a lot of stuff. And bless Facebook Marketplace because that way you can try things out. And if it doesn't work for you, you only paid $5 for it and you can pass it on or resell it. And yeah, I love
Marketplace. We bought a lot of things off Marketplace.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff is not even used. Like people use it and they're like, it didn't work for us. Or they got it on their registry or lots of shopping. Or when you go shopping. Like I went to Walmart once by myself. And it was like, I was at a 5-star resort. I was just like wandering around. There was no baby. I was making friends with people in the clothes section. It was great.
But you almost forget about yourself. Like when I still find when I go to Walmart, I go straight to like
the baby
food for whatever. And then baby, I don't look at anything that has to do with me. And then I'll go home and be like, oh, we're out of toothpaste. Like I'll forget about the stuff for us because I'm so focused on everything she needs. So something that's actually happened to both of us is when all of a sudden you'll get like the doorbell or someone will knock on your door and you'll have an Amazon package sitting there and you're gonna be like, what did I order?
Like, I don't even know what's in there.
And you'll look at it, you'll be like, oh, this is so useful. Like it's obviously something for the baby. And you're gonna be like, oh, and you'll look at it, something you ordered in the middle of the night because you get up so many times. You'll maybe get frustrated and be like, oh, I need a new soother. This is out, or I need this, or...
You're convinced whatever you order is going to make your life so much easier.
Yes, it is like the greatest thing you are going to order. And then, it just keeps showing up at your door. I do this all the time. I don't know how many times I've ordered things just in the middle of the night. It's like my best Amazon shopping time.
That's when I do my best shopping.
Right? I don't ever buy anything for myself, ever anymore.
Never. I like to browse Old Navy for the deals on baby clothes. And I order them like in a size up and then I put them in the nursery and then I tell my husband, oh, somebody bought them for us at the baby shower. If he's going to listen to this, he's going to find out.
Don't you remember? It was at the shower.
Exactly. Well, I did buy this really cute, two cute little sleepers. One has kitties on it and the other one had blueberries. And he just started wearing them because they're 6 to 12 months. And Jeff was like, oh my God, these are the cutest sleepers. And I was like, okay, I was going to tell you they were a gift, but I bought them. I need the credit.
Because you like them, it's me.
Yeah, I was like, that was me. Yeah, it was very needed.
The Amazon packages really do add.
I know.
It's sad, but I'm probably at like 50 purchases at least from Amazon.
But there's also like very helpful things you can get from there. Like we get our dish soap, like our laundry detergent, our dishwasher tabs, and our dish soap from there.
You can also do like subscriptions. Yeah. So we did that for formula on the other formula we were on. For diapers, you can do subscriptions, and normally you get a deal if you want to, and then you can pick how often you get it. So if you're running out of
save.
Yeah, thank you. That's the term. But it's a good deal for like things like formula or diapers, wipes. And normally it's a very good deal. So I'm Dutch. So it's very normal for Dutch people to like a good deal. But in my young days, I don't know. I think I thought I was above that. I don't know what I thought.
Yeah, you think
but
you're
as
too
I get
cool.
older, I'm like, now I like research things more and I look for a deal.
You price it out per
but
unit.
honestly, it wasn't until having a baby where I was literally looking online. I'd look at Amazon because you always want to know like how much Amazon's going to be because getting out of the house with a baby is hard. Like you can't deny that just it gets dropped off the next day at your doorstep is amazing. I hate the packaging. I hate how much waste there is. I like supporting local.
I don't love the owner, but
there's all these things to it, but you just can't deny the ease, and especially when you have a baby, it's just so easy. So I actually would start looking at like London Drugs, Walmart, Save-On, and then Amazon, or like I would look at all of them and see the price, and I would do the price per diaper. Okay, what brand, which place, and I've never done this in my life, but I started and I still do it. Like formula, I was like, how much formula are we going through? How much are we spending? Okay, if we buy this formula, it's gonna be this much. If we get it from this store, I'm looking for sales. I'm like,
You're thrifty. Look at you.
Yeah, I'm killing it. Yeah, my dad is so proud. My Dutch dad, he's just like, yes.
My mom is very frugal. She's very proud of my newfound money sense.
But when you're younger, you just don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't truly understand like the meaning and the hardship of money and like how far it can really go if you're a bit more responsible.
Or how far it cannot go if you are frivolous.
When you buy a house and have a baby and you see just how little that dollar does. But anyways,
exactly.
So you might become like a little coupon clipper.
Yeah.
You might start searching and like looking at all the different places.
Yeah. You'll start like saving food and like things that like you didn't finish. I never used to do this. I'd be like, oh, I'll make something new later, or coffee. I have always said I will never microwave my coffee. I hate it, the change of the flavor. But you know what? Mom life. You know how many times a day I microwave my coffee?
It's actually sad though. Like it does a disservice to coffee to just microwave it. It is not the same. It is not. No matter how good of a coffee it is.
It's ruined.
It is ruined, but you're still going to drink it because you're like, I need the caffeine.
Yeah, and you're like, this is 17 cents a cup. Actually, it's probably like $2 a cup.
Now the Nespresso, how much a pot? Like the pot is probably like less than $1, but like you're going to drink that
adds
coffee.
up. Yeah.
The
I'm hitting the Nespresso button twice now. We got to be thrifty, y'all. We got to be thrifty.
I honestly was like, I will never microwave. I was the same. I'm like, that is just... Okay, so with microwaving coffee, I always, like, you know how you just like to have your morning coffee and...
Alone.
Yes. But my husband and I always said, like, we love the Johnny Cash quote that he has because he's asked the definition of paradise and he says, this morning with her having coffee. And I've always actually wanted to get the sign because we enjoy just getting coffee or going to a coffee shop and just sitting and drinking coffee, the two of us.
Out, chatting.
We loved that. And so, you know, the having baby was a blur. It just went on for a long time. And just this past week, I had a coffee and Jordan napped for an hour and a half, which is like so rare for her. But I made this new Nespresso pod that I had never had before. So I actually drank the entire thing. It was hot. And I drank it in one go. And she slept quietly. I didn't hear her in the monitor.
Bless her.
And it was like the world's best coffee. And I kept talking about it to my husband for days. I'm like, that coffee was so good. Like
you didn't have to microwave
like,
it.
Was it like really the coffee? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, or would you say it was this morning without her having coffee? And I was like, yes. So we made this whole joke about the Johnny Cash quote because it's true. I think the coffee tasted better because I finally could sit down by myself and have a hot coffee in one go. Like it was just... Yeah. And it was quiet and it was peace. I don't even know where my husband was anymore, but it
didn't matter.
Didn't matter. I was alone and had a good coffee. And it like, in my head, it is still like the best coffee I've had in a long time.
I believe you.
So I think it was just the fact that I got to do it alone.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Hopefully our babies start napping longer soon so we can have more coffees alone.
Right? Just like, if you can, even take 15 minutes and just... If you can have that time where your baby's the first nap, maybe just try to have your tea, your coffee, whatever you drink,
your vodka.
Whatever gives you that like,
not your vodka,
whatever gives you that just like little bit of peace and rest, that like self-care, right? That 15-minute self-care of like, this is going to make me be a better mom for the rest of the day if I can have this coffee warm.
It sets the tone for the day when you give yourself a couple minutes of alone time in the morning.
Yes.
For a while, I was on a good kick getting up and do yoga before Henry woke up. That's when he was sleeping in. But now he's like up at the crack of dawn.
I know. Like, let's party.
I know. And so I keep thinking, do I get up early? Not before him. My husband always takes him in the morning. But do I get up 15 minutes before my husband leaves so I can have coffee in peace? Or do I sleep? I'm still sleeping, but...
You're debating it now?
Yeah, because I set up a little coffee corner out on my patio with some flowers that Jen bought me. The nice weather. And it's shaded there in the morning, so it's nice and like refreshing.
Vitamin D, that's also good. Like getting the sunshine, coffee.
We'll see.
I know. That's a hard one.
I know.
So speaking of terrible things that it does to coffee when you reheat it, missing meals. Like, honestly, I love food. Like, that's why I work out, is so that I can eat the food that I enjoy. Like, I love trying new food, going to restaurants, like making good meals. Like, it's just so important. And I never understood how moms would be like, I just forgot to eat today. And I'm like, what? That, like, my brain couldn't comprehend that idea that you might miss a meal. Like, that just to me was crazy.
Yeah. Ludicrous.
But I didn't eat breakfast for like a solid month. And I love breakfast is my favorite. Like, I'm not one of those people that can miss breakfast. Like, I need to eat when I get up. And for a month with having a baby, because my priorities were just like, feed her, and then I got to pump, and then I got to wash things, and then,
you gotta do this.
Then she needs to sleep, then I need to do laundry. Like, I just had so many things that it would get lunchtime, and I'd be like, I didn't have breakfast. Like,
but you had your microwave coffee.
I had my microwave coffee, but still, like,
yeah.
Honestly, I just thought, like, who misses a meal? Like, that is crazy. That's ludicrous to, like, miss meal. I can't understand that.
I didn't miss many meals, but I ate a lot of cookies for breakfast, which I was like, I will never do that. But I did it for like a month straight.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So just eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
Talking about self-care in the mornings with your coffee, like, have a little nibble of something.
Yeah. Little nibbly.
Even if it's not, like, fruit or healthy, who cares?
No. Eat what you want.
Self-care. Eat food.
Yeah.
It is important.
Yeah. Or make it healthy. Have a nice little egg sandwich. Whatever makes you happy.
Okay.
All right. What else happens? Lots of funny things. We've talked about this before. Being mad at your partner because they have vestigial organs in the breast area with their decorative nipples. So they're useless little boobies. Like, I remember being mad at Jeff that he could not breastfeed. And like, I'm the one, like, he was like, we'll feed him however it works best for our family. But I was the one that wanted to breastfeed. And I was like, no, we're making this work. And then I'd be like, ugh, F you without your functional nipples.
It is true. Like, you do resent them just a little bit. Like, it passes. But there's just, like, especially when you're in the throes of it, you're going to have a little bit of anger towards your husband that they just can't do certain things.
Yeah. Oh, what they can do is they fall asleep within 12 seconds after waking up. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there reeling through all these scenarios and replaying the days and imagining, oh, what's he going to look like when he goes to college? And he's snoring beside me. So even when Henry would wake up and I'd make him get up with him, he'd fall back asleep. He'd get up, feed the baby, change the baby, settle him, put him to sleep, and he'd still fall asleep before me.
I know, and you didn't even have to get out of bed. I know, same. Okay, this one's a Karlee story. I can't even start.
It's actually happened twice now.
This is all on Karlee to tell this next one.
Well, so I went out with some of my friends for my friend Julia's 40th birthday. Love you, Julia. You're an angel. And she lives downtown, so a bunch of us stayed and had a little slumber party after. And I consumed many, many dirty martinis. So I decided...
As one does on a mom's night out without kids. Like, you enjoyed yourself.
Dad was home with baby. Yeah. So when we got back to her place, I was pumping for making some milk baths, or bath milk. Like, if I have a couple too many drinks, I'll save the milk and put it in the bath. So then he's got his beautiful, luscious skin.
Yes.
Anyways, I don't even know how this happened. Actually, I do know how. My one friend, Heather, decided she wanted to make a cocktail out of my breast milk because I just love her. She's just crazy like that. And she has a kid and she breastfed. So, I mean, it's not like she didn't have access to the goods. But we get back and I literally pump and I finish pumping and I take the bottle off and then pass it to Heather. She wants to try it. So she took a nice sip and then somehow the bottle got passed all around. I think there was 5 or 6 of us.
It was like warm, freshly squeezed out
fresh from
milk.
the teat. And then I guess it changes a lot based on what you've eaten because it was salty. And I don't know if it was all the olive juice from the dirty martinis, but it actually was extremely salty. And we were all taken aback. We're like, oh, that's not what we were expecting.
Warm saltiness.
Yes. And there was 5 of us that tried it. So then fast forward to my 35th birthday.
What? You didn't get to the best part.
Oh, when it was salty, it tasted like semen.
So in case you've ever been curious what it tastes like.
Like a warm, salty fluid. It was... Yeah. And then I felt bad. I was like, oh, poor Henry. He's having salty breast milk. But then fast forward to my 35th birthday.
Yes.
We went out again and two of my friends, one of the same friends the other one wasn't there for the breast milk taste test. And she was like, well, I need to taste it.
Yeah.
So we came back to our place and I pumped. And this time we're like, okay, I had fruity drinks this night. So we tasted it. It was delicious. It was like cereal milk. You know, like after you have like your Fruit Loops and you drink the milk and it has that like nice, sweet, creamy flavor. It was fantastic. There's a video of us tasting it and we all have it in a little shot glass and we all just kind of keep taking sips of it and we're talking about it and we're like, oh yeah. And the one girl who had it before was like, oh yeah, it's way less salty. Like this is sweet. And we're all talking. And then in the video, we just all keep having little sips here or there, like talking about it. And I don't think any of us realized we were doing that until we watched the video back and we were all just like casually sipping it.
Like a drink.
Yeah. But then we had to do a taste test. So that one was warm. And then we took some from the fridge and did it cold. And I have to say, the warm one was the fan favorite.
Because, like cereal. Oh, no, that would be cold.
Cold, yeah. I thought it was like steamed oat milk or steamed almond milk. But my one friend was like, don't take that away from me. And I was like, okay.
That's
it's not
fair.
That. Yeah. It was
I
delicious.
have never tried it.
Well,
so I can't speak from experience.
We can change
here,
that.
But no, I'm good.
I could just give it straight from the teat. That's another thing straight from the teat, that I was making some little mashed avocado for Henry and I wanted to thin it out a little. And I was like, oh, I'll just mix a little breast milk into it. I hear that's a good way to thin it out. And instead of walking to the fridge and pouring a little bit of breast milk that I had in a bottle there, I just whipped a titty out and just squeezed some right into his bowl at the table while my husband and I, oh no, this was in the kitchen at the cutting board, like on the counter. And I just doop, doop, doop. And I was like, that was interesting. My husband was like, that's not what I was expecting. And I was like, it worked. It was fantastic.
I love that story. It's one of my favorites though, because I also told my husband, he also was like, why wouldn't you just get it from the fridge? I'm like, but it's the source, right?
It comes with me.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Just, you obviously, like, you need to thin it out. We have to get formula to thin out some of the things. So if I could, I think, why not? When you're at the table already, you're like, oh man, I need more. Like,
why get up?
Just make your life easier.
And that wasn't the last time I did that.
Well, you just like to whip your boobs out.
I do. The boobs are just out when you're learning to breastfeed, especially.
Yes.
And Henry really struggled with latching for a long time until like the last 2 months. So it was always like a whole thing. I'd have my breast fed pillow, like the one that clips around your waist. And then I'd have little hanky there. And then it's hard to breastfeed even with nursing bras on. So it's easier just to like have your nips
Let
out.
it all out. It is. I agree. My short experience with breastfeeding.
Nips were out.
It's just easier to have the boobs out and not have all this stuff in the way.
Yeah.
And like when you unclip the nursing bras and like there's just stuff and then if it like gets under their head or something and then they're like...
Or you leak onto the bra, then you put your bra on and it's soaking wet.
Yes.
So I just nips out. But it leads to you answering the door with your boobies out. Or I took a couple selfies.
Multiple occasions.
One friend, Shannon, the other member of the tongue tie trio,
yes.
bless her, she was bringing me coffee and a muffin after a really rough night. And I was like disheveled. I had my robe on and I was holding Henry and she rang the doorbell and I was like, oh, I got to go down. And then she was just doing like a little ding and ditch, as our Australian friend would say. She just left it, but she was still there. So we were chatting. Then I go back upstairs and I was like, I think I answered the door with my boob out. She's like, yeah, you did.
Like she didn't call her out, didn't say anything at the time. It wasn't until later when we were messaging about it that she's like, you did. Like
to be fair,
your boob was out. But
he was latched when I walked down the stairs, but then all the excitement, he was like, ooh, what's happening?
Well, clearly he needed to see who was there.
He
like
to
it
see
makes
his auntie.
sense. But it happened more than once and it just it warms my heart. Like she just didn't even tell you either. She just like, it's normal. Like, cool, your boob's out. I mean,
it's just Shannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got them too. Yeah.
Anyways, boobs might get up. People might see your boobs.
Yeah. And you know what?
It would have been actually better if it was like the Amazon delivery guy and you're like thanking him for the package as he drives by and that would have been better.
Well, I'm definitely the naked neighbor. You know how everyone says if you don't have a naked neighbor, like it's you?
Like in the Friends episode?
Yeah.
Like, what's his name?
Ugly naked guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugly naked man? Ugly naked guy.
I don't know what they call him. Or the hot naked mama. I don't know. That's what I call
Woo!
you.
But we have big windows in the front of our kitchen and people can see in. I don't know how much they can see, but it's like a gated complex. So there's not like foot traffic other than neighbors. Yeah. But I'll be on the couch and I'll be like, ooh, I need a snack. And I go to the fridge and I'm just nudie. And then I look down and I'm like, ooh, there's children. I'll just back up a little.
You learn to just really not care very much. No. Like, especially when you're breastfeeding. It's just... You're going to
I
do
got
it
other
when
things
you're
to
out
worry about.
places, like out at coffee shops. And if you're trying to be discreet all the time, it's really hard. And honestly, so it's just easier. Just do it.
Just easy. It's natural. Boobies. Let's talk about hair. Jen has a fantastic new haircut.
Short hair, don't care.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, there's a reason why I got short hair. Because as your children grow up, they learn to just pull on everything. So I'm not breastfeeding, so I do formula. So we give bottles. And so she's always like similar kind of position. Like, you know, I'm cradling her and feeding her. But now when she's eating, she has to like do things with her hands. Like this has been a little while. But she will just yank on my hair. And like her little hands just like get intertwined. And my hair would be like wrapped around them all. And it just hurts so bad. And you can't yell at your children. No. They don't know what they're doing. So I'm trying to nicely just like get her hand out of my hair and trying to like unwrap my hair from around all of her little fingers. And sometimes she'll like shove her fingers in her mouth and then grab my hair. So I have like gross formula spitty stuff in my hair. And it's just, honestly, it hurts so bad. So
much work.
That I finally messaged my hairdresser. I'm like, I haven't had a haircut in a while. Like, I just...
Yeah, your hair was long.
It was very long. And so I go to my appointment. She's like, what do you want done? I'm like, please just cut it all off. Yeah. She's like, really? I'm like, my daughter is just grabbing it. I just need a change. I want it cut off. I'm like, I'd still like it to go in a ponytail so that when I exercise or whatever, I can kind of pull it back. I said, but that is the only requirement. Like, just cut it off.
Get rid of it. Also, like, Henry can grab my hair, but I always have it in a bun, so he can't. But just like winding it up into the bun or putting it in a ponytail, it's actually so much effort. And we were actually brainstorming for this episode and we're texting back and forth. And I was like, oh, another one, something that happens when you're a parent is this like undeniable urge to cut your hair. And in that exact moment, she was leaving the hairdressers, which I didn't know about. Yep. And she sends me a selfie of her with her hair chopped. And she's like, oh, you mean like this? And we died laughing. I was like, yes, exactly like that.
Like, what are the chances of you bringing that up and me being like, I literally just cut my hair for this exact reason?
And I didn't know that's what you were doing.
Yeah.
It's not like I was like, oh, she's going to get her haircut. Because I've been thinking about it. I'm like, okay, my next haircut, I'll probably get in June. Yeah. I need to do a chop. Yeah. Like, ugh.
And it's just like, oh, it feels so
I know, you look
good.
so free.
But yeah,
and it looks great.
Pros and cons, because now that she doesn't grab my hair, she grabs other places.
Oh, yeah. She gets like the skin on your face.
Yes. And I'm like, wow, my chubby cheeks. And like, sometimes she'll like get my double chin.
Oh, yeah.
And
they're
she'll
like,
do that.
But she probably loves it. She's
or
like,
then she does like an oral exam. And apparently this is actually very common for babies because it's like them learning about themselves too. So they'll actually want to like touch your face. Yep. But she'll like fish hook you in the mouth and she'll like shove her hand in. And I was like, kind of miss the hair.
Yeah. Henry likes to grab onto my nose.
Yes, right?
One time I thought he was asleep and we were both lying in bed. I mean, I was sleeping and he was nursing and kind of fell asleep. And then all of a sudden these little daggers are like ripping my nose off. And I was like, oh, guess he's awake.
And now I'm awake too.
And he probably just woke up and was like, oh, mommy's nose. Yeah. And like just got it. He's like, she's not looking.
I just need to grab something. My chance. I know. Yeah. I mean, you love them, but it hurts sometimes. And it's really hard to not react poorly when it happens. Like in the throes of it, you're just like, I love you, but and it just gotta take some breaths and
motherhood is very overwhelming, but
yes,
you gotta. I mean, I could sit and cry about all these things every day, or you can just laugh at them.
I need like you text your friends. I actually texted them a photo yesterday because Jordan was pooping in the weirdest position. And I was just like, I just have to send a photo because it's just funny. This one wasn't of her poop. She was just like resting her head. I think she was trying so hard to poop. She just had to like take a little rest, and it was quite funny. Cute. So you just gotta love it and share your stories with your friends. Laugh about it.
And don't be embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. If you microwave your coffee, we won't judge you.
I know someone that thought it was like melted chocolate on their hand and they actually licked it. And it was a dad and he was telling us this story. I'm honestly like, it could happen to anyone, man. Like, no judgment. Like, you tell that story. You make someone else feel better if they ever lick baby poop off their hands because it might happen.
Yeah, it does happen.
Because if you clean a diaper and then you eat something with chocolate and then you're like,
yeah. Ooh.
in the sliver of hope that it's chocolate. Anyways.
Saving it for later.
Okay. Mom Day mantra. It's that time of the episode. So we're just going to finish off with our little Mom Day mantra today.
Our little uplifting, we're going to be okay moment.
Because we are all going to be okay.
Yeah. We're going to do it.
Today's is... Motherhood is not always glamorous. Embrace the chaos and find joy in the little moments.
Yeah, you got to laugh. because, I mean, you can be upset about things that upset you, but the little things, the silly things, when you forget things, when you drop things, when you, I don't know, drop food on your baby's head, spill your coffee, whatever.
Lick it off. Like it's,
you need to keep things slightly light or everything will just, you'll drown in the dark thoughts.
Yes.
And the difficulty.
Yeah.
So embrace the chaos.
Judgment. We've all been there. We have all done weird or embarrassing things, like
definitely
answer doors with boobs out. Like if it happens to you, who cares? Just laugh it off. And if they're uncomfortable, that's on them, not on you. So don't take on any like shame or
make
embarrassment.
Shame funny again.
Yeah, it's gonna be Karlee's hat.
Yeah.
But like that's on them. If they're offended by it, if they're like, oh, you shouldn't breastfeed him, like who cares what they think? Like you do you and just embrace it.
And laugh at it.
And have fun.
And help your friends laugh at it too. Like that time we were out for the walk and the mom was cleaning up the massive poop explosion. We all kind of laughed because it was funny. And maybe if she was by herself, she wouldn't have laughed. She would have been stressed about it.
I probably would have cried because I would have been like, of course. But like, you just think the worst and you go in that downward shame spiral. So
make it funny.
You just have fun.
And if you need to cry, we'll cry with you too, but then we'll laugh.
I actually cried when I was here this morning, and then we just laughed. We listened to music, sang, we talked about happy things, and here we are.
You know what it was? We started talking about poop, and all of a sudden, the days turned around. It just...
We did. We always end up talking about poop when we're together.
And it really makes us happy.
Honestly, find a person that you can just talk to about anything and everything because it helps. Like I don't ever have to second guess. You know when you type out a message and you're like, oh, are they going to get it? Or are they going to think... Like, I don't ever... delete when I'm messaging Karlee. It's just I was like, meh. Like I just don't ever have to worry. So it's good.
It's good.
Find that type of friend.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, we're those people.
I was gonna say,
if you need us to see any photos, we'll take a look.
Our DMs are open to poop pictures.
Yes, always. Send us an email.
We'd love it. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, follow us. Maybe share with some of your friends.
Yeah.
Send us those poop pictures. Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, whatever makes you happy.
I actually had a friend message me yesterday. She listened to our first episode and she didn't say anything about listening to the episode. All she said was, I'll send you poop pictures. And that's when I was like, oh, she listened. That's so sweet. So Farron, I'm still waiting.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And we will see you next week.
Happy Mom Day.
Happy Mom Day. Bye.
Bye now.